Welcome to the hashtag Speakeasy podcast, getting paid to hit the stage with your host, award-winning speaker and author, Altovise Pelzer.
Hey, guys. Altovise Pelzer here, your voice manager. Listen, so you saw the title of this episode, and I have a question for you. Are you willing to run for it? It's funny. When we think about business, when we think about life, when we think about our goals and our dreams, we create these processes, we create these strategies. Listen, we have vision boards. We have things that we place up on our walls to keep us focused on the goal. And there is this unwritten rule that makes us think that we have to walk towards this goal, right? That we have to take small steps. We have to, have a easy, consistent stride when moving towards our goals. But I'm here to ask this question because you got to be willing to run sometimes. Like, you can't just stay in a consistent path when it comes to your dreams and your goals. There's going to be moments when you have to run for it. And some of you may be thinking, oh my goodness, so the first thing that pops in your head is run, Forrest, run. Yeah, I know. That's probably one of the top things that pop in my head too. But the reason why is because that's what we've been taught to think, I should say, is that when we're running, we're running away from something, right? That, even to the point where people say, well, the race is not given to the this and that. We hear all of these different little sayings that kind of eat away at our drive and our tenacity to run after what it is we said we wanted to do. And I was watching the Kanye West docuseries Jeen-Yuhs. And let's be honest, there was a point where he was talking about he was at one studio and he got an opportunity. And the person said, the person that you need to connect with is going to be leaving in this amount of time. And he knew that if he took the train, he wouldn't make it. And so he ran as fast as he could to the next point. Like, he knew that if he waited for a cab, he might not have made it. And you got to have this understanding. He was willing to run for it. And it was so funny because that part, I had to pause on that part of the docuseries because I said, wow, how many times do we say we want something, but we're not willing to run for it? How many times do we say, oh, I want, and listen, I can go far as back to, I'm a city girl, born and raised in Philadelphia. And so there would be times where we said, I need to catch this bus. But if the bus was riding past, bruh, who running for the bus? Somebody that really needed it is going to run after it. Somebody that really needed it is going to go ahead and take the risk of possibly falling. Oh, y'all better catch that. Somebody who's really interested in it is going to take the risk of what is going to come with running, the being out of breath, the potentially not catching the bus. I'll share this with you guys. So I told you guys, born and raised Philadelphia. At one point, I was living in the Germantown section of Philadelphia. And so I was catching the bus. I kept the train home. And then I would have to catch the bus to go to, my next destination. And man, I got off the train. It was late. And y'all, the person behind me, I don't know who he was talking to. Because this was, we had cell phones and things, but I didn't think that he was talking on the phone the way he was talking. He sounded like he was talking to somebody in his head. And so I'm speeding up these steps, y'all. I mean, skipping, and I'm 5'4", y'all. So I got little legs. I'm skipping steps, okay? Because she me her is not about to stand out here. Well, I get to the top step and I look and the bus is right there. It is pulling off. Y'all, I ain't ran so fast in all my life, because I refuse to stand outside for an hour potentially with this person if they were standing at the bus stop. And this is at Broad Erie. Those of you from Philly, you know what I'm talking about in that space. That space is a little hectic anyway, right there in front of Max's. Shout out the Max's. You know what I mean? So the space is really hectic anyway. But at night, that is not somewhere where you want to be standing and you kind of like nervous about your surroundings. You don't want to be nervous about the people that's standing around you at that moment. And if everybody just got on the bus because it was pulling off, that meant I would have been standing there by myself. Not today. Sis ran. I mean, she's a runner. She's a track star. Yo, I ran and caught the bus. He opened the door and let me on. And I was so thankful. Like he must have seen it on my face. I was so thankful. Like I couldn't talk because I have asthma. So I couldn't breathe. That part. But I was willing to run the risk of potentially not getting it because, man, the potential of not getting it was something I didn't want to endure. And so for Kanye to say that at this point he had an opportunity to meet with somebody and he had to run to get there. He had to run to the next destination. He had to run with, now mind you, this is not him just running and, he got a backpack. No, he's running with, I think, like his keyboard. Imagine somebody running down the street with a keyboard. So he's running to the next destination. And it sparked something for me because one of the other things that he said in the docuseries was, walking to the train, he was practicing his Grammy speech. So even though there was a potential of him not making it to this other studio, this other place in time, his mindset was, I'm running as if I'm going to make this, and this is going to be my it. This is going to be my moment. Okay, this is going to be the time that I'm going to make everything happen. So that leads me to this next point is not only do I have to be willing to put myself in a position, this vulnerable position of running after my dreams, running after my goals, but now also on top of that, I got to be willing to be in my mind and in my heart looking as if it was already a success. Can I tell you something? I've spoken to entrepreneurs years upon years. I've listened to their excuses. I've listened to their heartache. I've listened to their aha moments. I've listened to all of these things. And I can tell you that there is something about the words that you speak out of your mouth that are valuable. It tells people where you are mentally, emotionally, spiritually. It tells people where you are psychologically is when you speak certain words with your mouth. And let's be honest, you may say what you got to say about Kanye. I mean, some things he does get the side eye on a lot of things, right? But the reality is that he's somebody who is always speaking things out of his mouth that he wants to happen. He's speaking it into existence. He's speaking where he's going, not just where he is. He could have said, oh my goodness, I don't have a car. I'm running. I'm doing this. I'm doing that. I'm not going to make it. Oh my goodness, I can't breathe. He could have said all of these things. But in the moment, and this is what I really want you to hold on to, in the moment he grabbed a hold of, this is it. And so I'm practicing my Grammy speech on my way to the train. Are you practicing your acceptance speech while you're in the projects, while you're taking the bus because you don't have a car yet, while there's zero in your bank account? Are you practicing that walk across the stage, even though you haven't gotten on the first stage yet, even though you're just in your first class? Have you practiced it? And this is why it's so significant. There was a point in time where I'm a college dropout. I had to stop going. I had so many things going on. At one point, I was attending Temple University, and so I was going through a separation. I was going through depression. I was going through different things going on with my mother being sick. And all heck was breaking loose. And I remember sitting in my counselor's office and being in tears because I was failing my classes. And then on top of that, I didn't have the money to pay them for the classes that I had because I had failed and went below my GPA. And man, it was horrific, like over a 2-semester period of time. And they said there wasn't really much they could do. Now, granted, I understand their system, so they set up the way they set up. But what they didn't realize was that the year before, I had said to myself, I'm going to give the speech at a graduation. I already had this, I got the speech in my head to this day. And I could have allowed that current circumstance to make me say, well, I don't need to hold on to this speech no more. I don't even need to say that this is going to be the speech for somebody graduation. But I kept holding on to it. I say that because I'm back in school. I was literally practicing my Grammy speech on my way through life. Oh, y'all better catch that. I was practicing my Grammy speech on the way through life. And no matter what it may look like on the other end, there's potential for me to win big. And so I'm walking it out as if I'm winning big. There's a change that has to happen on the inside of you that allows you to understand that where I came from is only a piece of the story. Where I'm at right now is still only a piece of the story. I still got the piece of where I'm going. And some of y'all, oh my goodness, y'all better take that to a whole nother level, because not only do I have the place where I'm going, the piece of where I'm going, the PIECE of my story of where I'm going, but I also have the PEACE of where I'm going, because I know that God said that he would give me anything in my heart's desire. He said, listen, he can do anything but fail. And so he's already told me that I can do these things. He's already told me what I can achieve. I just got to walk it out. Man, if you haven't watched the docuseries, by all means, go ahead, check that out. There's so many things. I'm always taking nuggets. And you'll probably hear a couple more episodes about the show. Just little snippets, right? Because I find when you look at people that have become successful, you look at some of the strategies and some of the things that they did back when they were in the position you're in, back when they were just starting out. And you allow yourself to say, okay, wow, okay, some of the same consistent things that I'm doing. Okay, these are some of the mistakes they made. Let me make sure I'm watching out for those things. We don't always have to learn from our own mistakes. Catch that hashtag, catch it. We do not have to always learn from our mistakes. We can learn from the mistakes and the mishaps and steps and detours that other people have made before us. When you're driving in a car, if you see a car before you swerve, you may want to swerve too, because they're probably going around something that's in the road that you can't potentially see just yet. And so on your journey, be willing to run for it. I'm encouraging you to go ahead and make sure that you're practicing your speech. Now, it may not be a Grammy speech, but whatever speech that be, practice it now as you're on your way to being in the position to give it, because you never know when that opportunity is going to come. Y'all, this has been another episode of the hashtag Speakeasy podcast with your host, Altovise Pelzer. And until next time, don't forget to press it out.
Thanks for listening. If you were inspired, leave us a 5-star review, share with a friend, and subscribe.